Hello, this is Mrs. Chavez. We're starting the second part of Chapter 12 on political geography today. I hope you've been using your time wisely and studying for your AP exam. It's coming up very soon. So, geography matters. And why does geography matter? Because every single country has certain characteristics about it. Size, shape, government, where it's located, things that can describe it and also set it apart from all the other states. These characteristics also affect sometimes how much power the country has and how stable the country is. We're going to be looking into that aspect of it, the fact that a size and the shape and the location of a country can affect how a country is run. There's a really good video that I put on your page for you to take a look at. It's called Why Geography Matters. So take a look at that. Let's look at size first. Now, you could make the assumption that because a country is really large, that means that they're going to have a greater chance that they're going to have more natural resources and that they can benefit. And that would be true depending on where they're located. A very large country like Canada is located in the far north. A very large country like Russia located in the far north, but only about 10% of their country is arable. 10% of their land can actually be farmed because of where they're located, because they're so far north. So there's a chance that it's going to include natural resources from which it can benefit, but it's not a guarantee. So size alone is not going to be critical in determining a country's ability to govern and their stability and strength, but it is a contributing factor. Large states are disadvantaged by several things. One is that they have very remote areas that have to be governed, and that makes it more difficult. You know, the farther you are away from the seat of government, the less likely people are to follow the laws. This is true of any place that you go. If you look out into the rural areas, they're less likely to follow laws in the rural areas than they are in the city, because of course there's a lot more cops around, there's a lot more people around, and there's more pressure to follow these laws. And there may even be less laws. But if you're looking at a country, if you take a look at this map in front of us, we have one of the Russian Federation. Look how large it is. They have to protect all those borders. And then they have all these different groups of people who are competing for government and services and support. Same thing happens in Canada. They have the Nineveh. These are the Native Americans who live in the far north, and they are competing for their share of the government of Canada. Small states are usually a lot homogenous. They have oftentimes they're ethnically homogenous, and they're also racially homogenous. So that means they're easier to develop, and if you put your capital right in the center and you have maybe a compact state, that makes the government easy to reach from all parts of the country, much easier, and of course shorter borders to defend. Shape, like a country's size, can also affect a state by helping it to become either ineffective or more effective, and helping it to unify. If you take a look at all these different shapes here, there's a lot to say about each one of those. Now, if you're looking at shape, let's look at the least efficient shape, and that's going to be the elongated state, because parts of the country are far away from the capital. Take a look here at Argentina. Argentina is right here, and look at how long they are. And look at Chile. Chile is really a long country here, and their capital is up in the north, and so they have a more difficult time serving either ends of their country. So these kind of ideas that a very elongated state are difficult to control. This is so true because there's fragments of the state that are far away from the seat of government, and it can be bad for national cohesion and also bad for promoting economic strength. Really good examples here, of course, are Norway, Vietnam, Chile, and of course Argentina. Fragmented states are also very difficult to control. The Philippines and Indonesia, these are states that have a lot of different islands. These are partly on a mainland and partly islands. And so Italy in the mainland of Italy, if you take a look there, you see that it's shaped like a boot, obviously, and it's elongated, so that has two strikes against it right there. And then it is separated from several of its territories. And sometimes you can have a state that's separated completely by another state, like the United States has the state of Hawaii, and it's separated by an ocean, but it's very cohesive. You may not think this is very true, but it is. The where you are located, your absolute location, the significance of size and shape are factors in national well-being, and this can be modified if you have a state that's located in a place that's not a very good place to be. Good examples would be Canada, Russia, and Iceland. So cores, what are the cores? Well, many of the states have come to assume their present shape actually from their core. If you take a look at the top, there's a map there of France. There's Paris. I circled it up there. In Paris, that was France. That's where France began and began to grow out further and further and further and taking in more and more territory. But it begins from the core. Sometimes they grow outward from the core. Moscow's the same way, okay? In England, we have London, and it grows from the core. Capital cities of a state are really important because usually within the capital city, oftentimes it's the core or it's the focus of the core. And it's usually the largest city or the primate city, which would be the second largest city. I mean, it would be larger than twice as large as the next largest city. And oftentimes it's also the seat of central authority. Now, if you look here in the United States, it's not necessarily true. Our capital state is not the primate city, and it is not the largest city in the United States, but it is the seat of central authority.